Good evening. Before I begin tonight, I want to just give a shout out to my 5th grade friends. I wore some special Mario socks for them tonight as I read this story. So this goes out to you, 5th grade kiddos. I miss you. Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I wanted to share a book from one of my favorite series when I was a kid. It was Curious George. Back then, the books were really funny to me, and I always loved to see how George learned. Looking back as an older person now, sometimes these books can mean some very different things. So, I'm going to read this book to you and share it with you. This is Curious George and the Dump Truck by Margaret and H.A. I love these books as a kid. You guys know who this guy is? I'll tell you who he is. This is George. He lived with his friend, the man with the yellow hat. He was a good little monkey and always very curious. This morning, George was playing with his toys when he heard a funny noise outside his window. What is that? It sounded like a quack. George was curious. What could it be quacking underneath his window? It was a duck, of course. Then George heard another quack, and another, and another, and another, and another, actually. Because why? It was not just one duck, it was a mother duck and 5 small ducklings. Ducklings were something new to George. How funny they were. He watched the ducklings waddle after their mother. Where were they going? George was not curious for long. Here we go. Should have stayed inside. Quarantine and all. Soon he was waddling after Mother Duck too. Don't do it. Don't do it, George. Now he could see where they were going. Where do you think they're headed? Been to a park in a while? The ducks waddled all the way to the park. George loved the park. Today he saw children flying kites and gardeners planting trees by the pond. Then George saw something he had never seen in the park before. What's back there? What's back there? What do you see? What do you see? A little truck? Not a little truck. It was a dump truck, and it was big. In fact, George was not even as tall as one wheel. George forgot all about the ducklings and stopped to look. Squirrel. Or monkey. It would be fun to sit in such a big truck, thought George. No one was inside the truck, and the window was wide open. George could not resist. Have you ever been in that situation? We all have, we all will. Choices and consequences, though. Let's find out about George. But sitting in a big truck was not so fun for a little monkey after all. George could not even see out of the window. He was too small. If only there was something to climb on. Would this make a good step for a monkey? What do you think? Look like a step to you? Got steps down too, like in math. Negative slopes. Could go downhill. It did. George could see out of the window. He saw grass and trees and a family eating a picnic. Suddenly, George heard a low, rumbling sound. Was it his stomach rumbling? He wondered. It had been a long time since he ate breakfast. But the rumbling was not coming from George's stomach. Well, you're going to learn. Oh, y'all with the little monkeys. It was coming from the back of the truck. George was curious. He climbed out of the windows. Then, like only a monkey can, he swung up to the top of the truck. Now he could take a look. He saw the truck was filled with dirt. George was excited. What could be better than a truck full of dirt? I don't know. George jumped right into the middle of it. Sitting on top of the dirt, George felt the truck bed begin to tilt. George. Negative slope. Look at that. That is a negative slope. See how George is going down? You're going to remember negative slope the rest of your life. Curious George. Curious George, negative slope. Curious George, dump truck, dirt, going down. Where does it end up? It tilted higher and higher. The dirt began to slide. It was sliding right into the pond, and George slid with it. George was having fun. Are negative slopes fun? They are if it deals with the coronavirus. Yeah. But the pile in the pond got bigger and bigger and bigger. And soon the fun was gone. That's good. Just then, the gardeners came back from lunch and stood with their mouths wide open. Uh-oh. They saw the empty dump truck, the pile of dirt in the pond, and a very muddy monkey. They knew just what had happened. Like, did that happen before to them? I mean, I guess. But before he could say a word, George heard a familiar sound. He heard more quacking. He heard more quacking. The gardeners heard it too. Then they heard people laughing. "Look," said a girl, "the ducks have their own island." You feel like you're on an island lately? A lot of people are. Hang in there. Indeed they did. The pile of dirt made an island in the pond, and Mother Duck and all her ducklings were waddling right on top. I tried that a couple times, that waddling part. It didn't work. Keep trying. George was sorry, for he had made such a mess, but the gardeners didn't seem to mind. We were planting more trees and flowers to make the park nicer for people," said one of the gardeners. "But you've made the park nicer for ducks, too." Remind me of a joke. Later, a small crowd gathered at the pond. "Would you like to help me feed the ducks?" a girl asked George. George was delighted. Soon, everyone was enjoying the park more than ever before. I think we'll enjoy our parks and take care of them better, more than ever before, after all of this ends. Including the ducks, who were the happiest of all in their new home. Look at that. Something good came out of it. That can happen. The end. All right. We're all on a journey. I hope you use this time wisely. Go through some books. Read them in a different light. Share them with your family. I miss you, everyone. All right, we're going to take a really quick break. I have a joke for you. Okay. What did the man in the yellow hat end up paying? A deductible. A deductible. Little insurance joke. I'm sure you love it. Okay. This is where it started. The dirt started to come out of the dump truck into the pond over here at 4 feet in the air. So it dropped 4 feet till it was at the same level as the pond, right on the 0 axis, and then it ran 3 feet over here. So down 4 over 3. It went down negative. Y equals negative 4/3 x plus 4. Cross it plus 4 on the y-axis, drop down 4 over 3. Y equals mx plus b. Curious George form. Crazy. All right. Hang in there, guys. And make sure you keep your mask on. Good night.